Wassail Sagittarius, wassail Sagittarius. So, how are you all doing? This is going to be interesting. This is a great cosmic reset, and it's all to do with the fact that the wounds of Chiron are becoming the healings of Chiron, and you are the centaurs. And it was focusing around it starting on the 29th of January when Chiron moved and went into an exact conjunction at 9 degrees and 9 minutes in Aries with the tip of the wing of Pegasus. And there's something about a flying centaur frequency, the healing frequency, that's coming towards you. It's a really interesting concept. And on that day, the moon was in Sagittarius, and it was on the sting of the tail of Scorpion, which is actually in Sagittarius and not in Scorpio, because the signs, the constellations blur across the lines with each other. So we're going to ask the cards to show us what would Chiron like to say to his fellow centaurs. What would Chiron like to say to his fellow centaurs? What would Chiron like to say to his fellow centaurs? Nothing, apparently. Let's give him another rifle. What would Chiron like to say to his fellow centaurs, please? Not getting anything. I'm going to do it over here because there's a bit of a wind picking up. What would Chiron like to say to his fellow centaurs? I didn't fall, got stuck. Stand still in the lower world. Don't stand still in the lower world. Interesting. I'm not taking these as separate. They're coming out as both the energies of Chiron. Let go of some distorted vision. Like, let go of some kind of energy of not healing. Chiron is saying you can heal. There's something about an alignment of the moon, Pluto, and Mars. Moon, Pluto, and Mars. It's picking up on that energy of the third that I've just had again. I just had in the Capricorn reading. It's a very significant day, the 3rd of the 3rd. There's a triple conjunction, but also the Sun goes into a conjunction with Jupiter, and the Moon goes into a conjunction with Neptune, all on the same day. Let go of the wounds. I'm getting a download in this ear. A ringing frequency. There's a new energy coming to you on the 3rd of the 3rd. So what's Pegasus want to say to Sagittarius? What's Pegasus want to say to Sagittarius? Sweat Lodge. I mean, I immediately wanted to say that you've got to transform, because you won't fit. You won't fit what's coming. But this is feeling very, very different. I'm getting a real energy of the tongue. A divine voice. Speak what you see. I need some cards on that. It's not making sense. Right, come on. That doesn't make sense. Let go of the vision, but speak what you see. And that energy of the third. Come on, we need to understand this. Don't go confusing Sagittarians. Oh, big spillage. But, again, Mercury is the only one facing up. Throat, communication, make known, galdir, declare, vent. Vent. But there's something about this that's very calm. I need to explain that. So, why are you giving me mixed emotions here for them? Why is the let go of the vision so calm? What's letting go of the vision about? What is letting go of the vision about? What is letting go of the vision about? Chiron. You're hearing your own reading. It's accept the wounds, is what I'm being told. Accept the wounds. Voice the wounds. So why is there a mercurial sort of anger around the venting? It's like it's been boiling in you for a long time. And there's an energy here of sexual frustrations. You're agitated. You're wounded. You've got lust taboos. Or have you? Oh, interesting. I feel like there is sexual wounding. Can you please explain the sexual wounding? Can you please explain the sexual wounding? Yeah, look. There's rot. It's like the rot at the base of your soul. I'm being drawn to point out 808. Change, reset, change. Decompose, recompose. Dark night of the soul. I mean, there's that energy here. Like, and that's a 9. That's a 22. And then I've also got this solar eclipse, which is a galactic opportunity, an unexpected frequency, a door of, I wanted to say perception because it's on the card, but a door of redemption. It's the energy. This card came up before. It's a Janus frequency. Janus is the two-headed primordial god who sees both forwards and backwards in time. But that's not really explaining what these sexual wounds are, what their form are, but they're boiling under the skin. They're like steam. They're scalding you. There's an energy of a sexual promiscuity that feels as though it's within you, but not true of you. it's like a distortion. There's something about the two frequencies between these two alchemical symbols. One is warped and the other is hot and steaming. It's like your wound came so early. It's a very uncomfortable energy, Sagittarius. And I'm not saying it's sexual abuse necessarily. It could be for many, but it's I'm seeing it in many forms. I'm seeing it as a kind of a nervousness, a bravado, a distortion of your truth, a kind of desire sometimes for sexual promiscuity, but there's a kind of, it's like it burns off your emotions, but it's not you facing your emotions within a sweat lodge situation. It's like you're playing out your emotions with others. You're not ever looking at your emotions as you. And it's a really primal wound. There's something about you not... I feel like you can't accept yourselves fully as if you're not human. Your wound is so distorted that you've lost a sense of humanity within you. And there's something about these wounds will allow you to become a bridger between the real world and the esoteric world. And you're not sure that's true. Right, let's go into some more cards. This is quite heavy frequency. I'm going to use the Lenormand. What else can you tell Sagittarius? Because we don't just want a dark energy, we want the healing. What's the healing? What is the healing? We've got the moon. So we've now got solar eclipse. That's the 30th of April. I feel like this is an energy of desperation. I feel like you've got to work with the moon, because the moon was in your sign on the 29th. It was a sting in the tail. There is a sting. This sting is this sexual wounding. And whether that be abuse or whether it be some kind of sexual misfunction, it's definitely an energy that's... I mean, I just want to say really deeply wounding, right to the soul, right to the sacral. It's like a disbelief within you of there being any truth in there being good emotions in sex. It's very wounding. I feel like it's like having your own arrows stuck within you. I'm going to come back to the Lenormand. I need to go back to these. So, we hear the wounds, but the whole point of this is the healing. Talk to us about, tell Sagittarius the healing. They're your own They're your own people, Chiron. Okay, so the Time Master. It's going to show you a series of cards because I'm going to have to read them because they've come out in a row. The Tree of Life. This is beautiful healing. Time heals all wounds, and now is the time to walk forward. This is also 57-58. It's a natural step forwards. 61, emotions, amplifying emotions. The moon. That's 2 moons. As I said, the moon was very important. I think you've got to work very closely with the moon. Also, look at where your moon is. Look at your moon in your natal and watch the reading that will match that. I might not have done it yet. And then you've got the Heart of Sky. And again, it's about a moon truth being unveiled here. And the Heart of Sky is a kind of new consciousness frequency coming in. So, I just need to look at the row of these cards. What's interesting is he's looking down the row. He's looking down, and then she's at the other end looking away. And in between that is the energy of the cosmos helping you to step. It's like the roots, the wounds are so tangled that your emotions can't seem to penetrate into your body. And I mean not all emotions. You're very emotional, deeply emotional, really rooted in the ground. What I mean is that there's something about it's to do with sex. Your sex lives lack emotions. It's like you can go through the whole process, and what seems emotional when it begins moves around and just fades into nothing every time. Whether this be relationships, you can't seem to pop into this bubble. And while you can come together time and time again, this emotional engagement just leaves you looking away every time. You turn away and there's an emptiness. Why? So let's go back. Why? Why is there this emotionless frequency for Sagittarius? Oh, I'm getting another ear download. They're all new. They're new ones. They're not old energies. They're new. So, there's a fixed separation that's part of your wound. I don't want this to be about wounds, but I think we need to really brace this subject somehow. I just need to go right underneath to look at what we had earlier. It's voicing, speaking up. It's like there's something about there's something to do with like trinkets, like, so I'm getting the energy of a kind of sexual bravado that's not your truth. So like notches on a bedpost, believing that you are good at sex. I'm not saying you're not, but a frequency of believing that you've got some kind of prowess, and yeah, you may have that, but it's not got any emotional content. In the treasure chest of your emotions, you hold no treasures in love somehow, and I'm being pulled into this kind of wishing upon a star for something to be revealed. You've got all this moon and star energy, this healing frequency is all there, but somehow you're not engaging with it, you're not seeing it, you're not fitting through the door I mean, there's something inappropriate sexually that takes place. Like, what they're showing me is like you're in a sweat lodge and yet you're flirting with someone. It's like inappropriate sexual advances. Again, that energy of a sort of sexual promiscuity that has wounded you. So I'm now being given Neptune, clouds. There's an air dragon here, and there's a little monkey, and there's something about clouds are about clearing, and it's Neptune, so it's clearing a fog. There's a frequency of a breath of air. Step outside of yourself. Come out of this sweat lodge of passion that's empty, Sagittarius. So let's go to Odin and the Nine Realms, and let's get a little bit about how you heal, because we're all healing, and that is the truth. But your theme, I mean, you've got Harvest the Magic. Harvest the Magic. So Sagittarius, how do Sagittarians heal? How do they heal from this? How do they heal from this? How do they heal from this? So I've got two energies. I've got two energies, all right. I've got two energies, Tyr and Skadi. Skadi came first. Skadi came out, and she's that energy of get back up. And I feel like Tyr, who is sacrificed to the angry moon gods. It's like you've got to start being wise. You've got to start walking. You've got to start not slipping. But you've also got to stop being a victim of your own sexuality. It's the skin you wear. It's the skin you wear. There's no happiness in these energies, and yet Skadi is about being wounded, getting up, and empowering yourself to move on. The skin you wear. There's an energy somehow of a kind of dark eve. It's like there's a sexual manipulative energy and sexual manipulation. I feel like you may have been sexually manipulated and then you've used sex to manipulate. Or you've just always used sex to manipulate people. Or your sexuality even. Can you please explain this a little bit more? Can you please explain this a little bit more? Can you please explain this a little bit more? I'm being told it's interesting that earlier I said about Sagittarius is an empty house. You're empty. That's the energy. And you need refilling. This is bad relationships. Biting the hand of those that feed you. And then we have healing. Air. There is a healing. That's coming. The crow on the head of the figure. I'm being shown like, it's like you can't see it. You can't see it. Every time you dive on in and do it again and again and again, and it's wounding and it hurts and it leaves you empty, but you're not seeing through the smoke, seeing through the fog. And then here, this healing is a starting, a fresh start, a bjarken, new roots. Look. The tangled roots transform. You're stepping out of that energy. How? Let's go with Thoth. Hearing your heart. Also, 10 of Cups is on the bottom. How does Sagittarius start this healing? They had a real slap as they felt. Lovers, disappointment, moving too slowly in the Chariot, Prince of Discs, quicken up. I feel like there's something deeply religious, there's something blind. The figure over these two is like, this is the card of the Lovers, but I'm seeing this figure as blind lust, as an energy of Mars. Look, Mars in Scorpio, the at home, but like stinging the emotions, burning them, and that Scorpio tail. The sting in the tail is this lust that's driving your energies. And it's a confused lust. It's almost like another new frequency coming in, which is to do with the clothes you wear or don't wear, is what they're saying. So there's this, he's naked, the bull is naked, they're not moving, because you're not moving because your earth frequency is tangled. You're caught in some kind of web of I don't want to say sexual shame, because there should be no shame. Sex is just sex. but there's something, you're caught in a web of unemotional sex, of a kind of, again, it's that energy of I don't know, not promiscuity, but not the lovers, blind love, blind lust. There's something, that's what has to change. And you have to move quicker. Again, we've got Mercury here now. Mercury in Sagittarius. There's a wound and you need to be able to talk about it. Make known, reveal, declare. So, how? How? We need the formula to heal. We need the answer now. How? How does Sagittarius do this? This is very interesting. It's the Queen of Discs. So she's the next on from the Prince. She's enthroned in power, but I feel like she's turning her back on the lust energy. She's looking out into a future and she can't quite yet believe that it can have a different energy, that there can be a healed life ahead. And yet that's what we're getting. We're getting the energy of how you move on from this trauma, because it's about a healing. It's about taking flight. What helps you to take flight is, a card of flying. But this is, the Knight is actually the king in this deck. So you become the flying centaur, and that's done with readdressing your thoughts. You can't allow any energy of your past. Skadi is the perfect card to say it doesn't matter what was before. You can choose to let that continue to hurt you, or you can choose to move on into a new emotional sensuality. So let's go with some more alchemical symbols of astrology. Okay, so it starts with Moon in Leo, which is your, it's fixed fire, so you're mutable fire, so you can transform your passions, but you have to transform your passions through your thoughts to actually create them as being more emotional. And you've also got Aries, so it's all about how you action your desires, how you control your desires, how you there's all three elements of fire here, and the fires are the thing that's burning you. They're the thing that's clouding your judgment. It's a kind of a fruitless passion, and you need somehow to turn this into a kind of emotional, explosive creativity. Something that would fire and surge emotional bliss through your blood. And there's something about I want to say like a sexual abstinence. Not forever, but the thought's about a fixed modality. It's a frequency of division. It's a frequency of flipping, materializing something new. Another download. I think every time we're getting to the crux of things, we're getting the downloads. It's about you going in to the sweat lodge of your own soul to re-emerge ready for proper relationships. And again, where we had this card of like a kind of crown consciousness thought process, we've now got Gaia Uranus coming out, and that is crown consciousness. It's about clarifying. It's about a kind of a sexual revolution, but somehow your sexual revolution begins in some kind of abstinence, so that you can redefine you and allow a newer, older energy, a more, you know, it's something like, you know, enjoy flirting, enjoy dating. I'm being reminded of, you know, once Chiron heals, Chiron's in a really stable relationship with Chariklo, and Chariklo is about gracefully enforcing boundaries. I feel like you don't enforce boundaries around sexual attitudes somehow. It's very interesting energy. I think there's a darkness to some of it that was brought upon you, but you can heal from anything. We can all heal from anything, but we have to change our consciousness. We have to work out how to turn round from the past and look to a brighter future, because you can't call in a new beginning, a stepping into a new frequency. Goddess of snowshoes, she doesn't slip up unless you give away that energy right at the beginning. Let go of the vision quest that's leaving you empty, that's leaving you wishing for emotions. And now I hear the hummingbird. So, and cockerels. So, Sagittarius, that's yours. Wassail.